Prompt. You can show the level of your Divine Kingdom territory on any channel. In the next second, the announcement of the myriad races resounded in Zhou Zhou and the myriad races' ears. Announcement of the 10,000 races. Congratulations to the prideful Sun Kingdom, prideful Sun Lord, for successfully upgrading his kingdom to the first primary Lord God Kingdom Lord territory of the 10,000 races. Rewards. 10,000 races mythology treasure box +1, primary Lord God Kingdom treasure box +1, legend degree +1 million, myth degree +10,000, 10,000 races announcement. Congratulations to the Blazing Sun Divine Kingdom, God Lord Blazing Sun. 10,000 races announcement. Congratulations to the Blazing Sun Divine Kingdom, God Lord Blazing Sun. A smile appeared on Zhou Zhou's face. He had finally advanced to a Master God tier advanced grade kingdom. He felt a little emotional. The difficulty of advancing to a Master God tier advanced grade kingdom was really high. It actually took him so long. At the same time, the myriad races of the heavens were numb again. It had not been long since the Blazing Sun Divine Kingdom had advanced to a Grade 1 Supreme Kingdom. But now, it had advanced to Master God tier advanced grade kingdom. Isn't this 2F** king exaggerated? Some of the lords of the divine kingdoms looked at their territory interface that was not even beginner grade Master God tier kingdom and felt like crying. They were both lords, but the difference was too great. The lords of the myriad races were shocked by the rapid advancement of the Blazing Sun Divine Kingdom, but they were also very helpless and helpless. This gave them a strong sense of urgency. They had to quickly increase their strength and upgrade their territory and divine kingdom levels as soon as possible. This way, they would not be beaten up if they fell behind. Zhou Zhou naturally did not know how these lords of the divine kingdom felt. He wouldn't care even if he knew. In this era, so be it if it was a bit more tiring. The illusionist clan was constantly thinking of invading the supreme great cosmos and even the ultimate void great cosmos. They wouldn't have a chance to get involved even if they wanted to if they didn't get involved. When the illusionist clan entered the great cosmos, he had created such a mess for their own good. Zhou Zhou looked at the Lord channel and the battle channel for a while before closing the channel page and looking at his reward. First was the mythical tier treasure chest. He opened it and saw a jade slip in the mythical tier treasure chest. Jade slip. I haven't seen this thing in a long time. Zhou Zhou clicked his tongue in wonder. Then, he picked up the jade slip and placed it between his eyebrows. He obtained the contents with a thought. A moment later, he took the jade slip, his eyes filled with surprise and joy. There is something like that. This jade slip recorded a teleportation array, and the grade of this array had shockingly reached the Supreme Will Realm. A teleportation array at the Supreme Will Realm could already teleport between different great cosmoses. The first thing Zhou Zhou thought of was to build a teleportation array in the Supreme Great Cosmos and the Yellow Heaven Great Cosmos. This way, even if there was any danger on Zhou's 16th side, he could quickly send a large number of Blazing Sun Divine Kingdom soldiers to provide support. In addition, he could also build two-way teleportation arrays in the Crimson Great Cosmos, the land of Tianjun's corpse, and the other great cosmoses of the Ultimate Void Great Cosmos. This way, not only could the Blazing Sun Divine Kingdom connect to any place in the Supreme Great Cosmos and the Crimson Great Cosmos through the Shadow World, but they could also use the teleportation array to go to the Great Cosmos world in the Ultimate Void Great Cosmos. Think about it a little more. If Zhou Zhou could establish a two-way teleportation array in all the great cosmoses in the Ultimate Void Cosmos, just the path of doing business was enough to make the Blazing Sun Divine Kingdom the strongest merchant faction in the Ultimate Void Cosmos. It would make a lot of money, not to mention the benefits of war, diplomacy, and so on. This Supreme Will Realm teleportation array was completely a treasure with unlimited potential for development. Zhou Zhou was not very worried about any peers. He was not completely ignorant of the Ultimate Void Great Cosmos. According to what he knew, in the Ultimate Void Great Cosmos, only a very small number of forces in the Great Cosmos had such a method of teleporting and trading with each other. Most of the Great Cosmos were like forces that were in seclusion and were extremely resistant to communicating with outsiders. One of the reasons was that the rulers of the Great Cosmos were worried that they would invite wolves into their houses, so they rejected such external communication. Secondly, It was because the materials needed to create such a teleportation array were extremely rare. Even Zhou Zhou could only gather 10 supreme, realm teleportation array materials at most. However, he wasn't worried about this. This was because he believed that after he upgraded Heavenly Fate Di Huang to the Supreme Will Realm, he would be able to collect a large number of materials to create teleportation arrays. At that time, his Blazing Sun Divine Kingdom would earn a lot of money. Zhou Zhou was excited, but he looked calm on the surface. With a thought, he told Zhou manage his thoughts and asked him and Zheng Yuanqi to discuss how to develop this teleportation array. However, they had to first build the teleportation arrays in the Yellow Heaven Great Cosmos, Tianjun's corpse, and the Crimson Great Cosmos before they developed it. Development could be done slowly, but the teleportation arrays of these great cosmos had to be done first. Then, he opened the treasure chest of the Master God Tier Advanced Grade Kingdom. He looked over and realized that there were 3 world rings inside. He picked up the 3 world rings curiously and realized that there were actually 3 sets of resources to establish a beginner-grade Master God Tier Kingdom. With these 3 resources to establish a beginner-grade Divine Kingdom, as long as there were enough people and experts, he could create 3 beginner-grade Master God Tier Kingdoms out of thin air. Zhou Zhou's eyes lit up and showed. Even though this thing was not very useful in increasing his strength, it could greatly increase the speed at which he increased the level of his Divine Kingdom. Thinking of this, Zhou Zhou did not even care about the last 10 million reputation ratings and 100,000 mythical reputation ratings. He directly opened the Divine Kingdom Advancement interface. Divine Kingdom name, Blazing Sun Divine Kingdom. God Lord Blazing Sun. Divine Kingdom level, Master God Tier Advanced Grade Kingdom. Divine Kingdom flag, all stars cover the sun. Divine Kingdom army, Blazing Sun army, Grade 1 Supreme God. Monster army, Grade 1 Supreme God. Dragon God army, Grade 1 Supreme God. 10,000 races army, Grade 1 Supreme God. Heavenly Map army, Grade 1 Supreme God. Homeland Defense army, Advanced Grade Master God Tier. Requirements for advancing to a Grade 1 Supreme Kingdom. Territory level to a Grade 1 Supreme Kingdom. 10,000 Grade 1 Supreme God Divine Crystals. 1,000 high-level Divine Kingdoms under the Crimson Overlord, 0/1,000. 500 high-level Divine Kingdoms that are not under the Crimson Overlord, 0/500. 20 beginner grade God Lord territories under the Crimson Overlord, 0/20. 10 beginner God grade God Lord territories under the Crimson Overlord, 0/10. 10 God Lord territories under the 10 God Lords that are not under the Crimson Overlord, 0/20,000. 2,000 high-level Divine Kingdom Lord factions that have advanced God grade God Divine Kingdom orders. Zhou Zhou looked carefully at the requirements to advance to Grade 1 Supreme Kingdom. Among them, he was already satisfied with the territorial level, Supreme God Crystal, Independent Regional Territory, Worshipped God Spirit, Racial Divine Artifact, Worshipped Master God, Supreme God Spirit, and Strength. Some of the conditions weren't difficult for him. He could easily satisfy them with some time. Only by conquering 20 beginner-grade Master God Tier Lord territories under the Crimson Overlord and 10 beginner-grade Master God Tier Lord territories that were not under the Crimson Overlord would it take some time to satisfy. In total, there are 30 beginner-grade Master God Tier Kingdoms. How many resources would that cost? Zhou Zhou shook his head helplessly. If he didn't already have a new resource channel like the Yellow Heaven Great Cosmos, he would probably be in despair. He would still need a few days to satisfy these 2 conditions even with the new resource channel of the Yellow Heaven Great Cosmos. I'll take my time, Zhou Zhou muttered to himself. He was not anxious at all. He was very calm. After the Blazing Sun Divine Kingdom advanced to the territory of a Master God Tier Advanced Grade Kingdom, Zhou Zhou returned to the Reincarnation Sacred Palace to cultivate. His Will Realm was already at the Supreme Will Realm. Under this Will Realm, he felt that his speed of comprehending laws had increased by more than 10 times. This was normal. After all, Will was a system that was a dimension higher than the laws. He, who had already grasped the level of the Supreme Will Realm's will, looked back at the laws like a high school student with peak intelligence. When he looked at the questions for the junior high school examination, he would naturally feel that it was simple. He did not waste time. He was prepared to take this good opportunity to comprehend the laws and strive to advance to the true supreme will realm as soon as possible. The next day, in the reincarnation sacred palace, Zhou Zhou was sitting cross-legged on the Tao comprehension futon and cultivating. Suddenly, a pure golden light suddenly emitted from his body. There was a faint 95 Supreme King's dragon body swimming on the light, making it look real. After a long while, the pure golden light gradually dissipated. Zhou Zhou slowly opened his eyes. Surprise and joy flashed in his eyes as he sensed his realm. Grade 4 Supreme God realm. He had actually advanced to a Grade 4 Supreme God so quickly. Before last night, he clearly felt that he was still a long way away from the nomological comprehension of a Grade 4 Supreme God. Unexpectedly, this huge distance was quickly filled in just one night. The will level of the Supreme Will realm is indeed convenient for comprehending the power of laws, Zhou Zhou lamented. Next, he only needed to comprehend the complete Lord's law and sublimate it into his first willpower skill. He could use this willpower skill as the core to construct his willpower origin core. Then, he would officially advance to the Supreme Will realm. The will origin core was the foundation of the Supreme Will realm. With the will origin core, a Supreme Will realm expert could completely leave the God Spirit system and become a true Will realm expert. Only experts with willpower techniques were the true peak experts in the ultimate void great cosmos, and even the illusionary great cosmos. There was no other criterias. Any God Spirit was like an ant in front of a will level expert. As for eternal realm experts, such an existence no longer existed in any universe. No powerhouse knew where they had gone. The only thing they knew was that they had gone to a world exclusive to them. No one could disturb him, and no one could disturb him. Then, he checked his body again before the smile on his face intensified. Grade 4 Supreme Sacred Body. Not bad, not bad. The Supreme Sacred Body has also improved. Zhou Zhou was very satisfied. Even though the Grade 4 Supreme Sacred Body was only at the level of a Grade 4 Supreme God, it had to be known that a Grade 3 Supreme Sacred Body could allow Zhou Zhou's clones to withstand the attacks of a low-level Supreme Will realm expert without being injured. A Grade 4 Supreme Sacred Body would only make Zhou Zhou and his clone's body stronger. His current physical body was probably comparable to the defense strength of a mid-level defensive Will holy artifact. Zhou Zhou, whose life-saving ability had increased again, could not help but feel very happy. Then, he checked the various law skills that he had newly advanced. Firstly, the strongest law skill he used the most was the King. Law skill name: King. Law skill quality: Grade 4 Supreme God. Introduction: as a true God Spirit on the Lord's law path, you can mark 50% of the territorial subjects and control everything they have, including appearance, bloodline, skills, weapons, law skills, and even illusory fate. When you control everything that the marked subject has, the subject doesn't have to suffer any negative effects. After reading it, Zhou Zhou smiled again. The multiplier increased from 10 to 20 times. It was simply terrifying, which meant, now that he had activated King, just the augmentation of the Heavenly Blade Will alone could instantly allow him to have the augmentation of all the powers of the 50 Heavenly Blade Wills. Now, even if he didn't use the power of the Yellow River, just using the King could instantly increase his strength to the mid-level Supreme Will realm. This King's improvement was really good. Zhou Zhou was very satisfied. Then, he looked at the second law skill, Myriad Method Star Palm. The improvement of the Myriad Method Star Palm was the same as before. It was purely an increase in power. Its power had also increased by 10 times. Coupled with the King, whose power had also increased, it could allow Zhou Zhou to fight a high-level Supreme Will realm expert without relying on any external force. If he used a Will holy artifact, his combat strength would be that of a top Supreme Will realm expert. Zhou Zhou nodded in satisfaction again. As for the third law skill, Under the Heavens, everything is the King's land. Its domain strength has also increased again. Even though it was only a Grade 4 Supreme God law skill, it could actually suppress the domain of a mid-level Supreme Will realm expert at the highest. In addition, the law skill All the Land in the World Belongs to the King could establish 200 temporary/permanent exclusive territories at the Boundless Universe level in the law domain when he was a Grade 2 Supreme God. Now, this number had increased to 2,000. Finally, The Grade 2 Supreme God, all the land in the world belongs to the king, could forcefully make 200 boundless universes his territory every day. Now, this number had increased to 2,000. The subsequent improvements in these abilities were undoubtedly extremely useful for expansion wars. As for the law skill Land of Earth, a minister of the king, its improvement was also very simple and crude. Previously, when he was using Grade 1 Supreme God law skills, he could only instigate the insight defection subjects below Grade 1 Supreme God. He could instigate the insight defection subjects below Grade 3 Supreme God realm and below. Finally, there was the 5th law skill, the 95 Supreme King. Law skill name, 95 Supreme King. Law skill quality, Grade 4 Supreme God. Introduction to nomological skills. You stand at the peak of all lords. You are the king of lords, the absolute supreme. When you face other lords and they are enemies with you, all the abilities that they use against you will be weakened by 50%. There is a 50% chance that they will be ineffective. When the subjects under your command fight with you, their combat strength will increase by 500%. Other lords will have a natural sense of reverence and even submission when facing you. There is a certain chance that the other party will agree to your opinions and thoughts. Those who are your enemies will feel fear from the bottom of their hearts. Only those with extremely strong willpower will be immune to this fear. You can transform into the 95 Supreme King Dragon God. Your body is invincible and indestructible. Unless all the soldiers under you die or the difference in strength between you and the other party is so great that it can't be made up for, you will definitely not die. When you transform into the 95 Supreme King Dragon God and appear on the battlefield, you will randomly give your soldiers the supreme blessing to strengthen their various abilities. Zhou Zhou nodded slightly after reading it. The effect of the 95 Supreme King's nomological skills had also increased greatly. Especially in terms of basic combat power, it directly increased from 300% to 500%. In the future, the soldiers under him could fight even more ferociously on the battlefield. Braveness. He looked at the 5 law skills again and was very satisfied. As expected of a nomological skill with the potential to transcend willpower, every improvement didn't disappoint him. Then, he looked at his newly upgraded Supreme Unique Lord Talent. It was also the only Lord Talent among his 3 developmental Lord Talents that had yet to be promoted. The Mysterious Caravan. Lord Talent. Mysterious Merchant Chamber of Commerce. Supreme. Unique. Mysterious Caravan. Your territory has a mysterious chamber of commerce blessed by the supreme will and exclusive to you. It controls all the mysterious caravans in the supreme great cosmos. Other than combat orders, all members of the mysterious caravan have to listen to your other orders. You can send them out to buy the resources needed by your territory or sell the goods made by your territory's subjects. Supreme Blessing. Mysterious Trading. In the eyes of your subjects, the mysterious caravan is just an ordinary caravan that helps the territory carry out transactions. In the eyes of outsiders, the mysterious caravan is a special caravan that will never be known. Outsiders will never know who it is working for or what their ultimate goal is. Supreme Blessing. Treasure Hunting. The mysterious caravan has been blessed by the supreme will. It's extremely easy to buy rare and valuable random treasures during the business process. Supreme Blessing. Mysterious Treasure Vault. All the wealth and treasures accumulated since the birth of the mysterious Merchant Chamber of Commerce are stored in the mysterious treasure vault. However, it has been taken away by the supreme will. You can store the wealth and treasures obtained by the mysterious Merchant Chamber of Commerce through trade again. Supreme Blessing. Unlimited Rite of Passage. Kingdom level. The mysterious caravan can conduct business in any territory below the kingdom level, even if it's a closed area that rejects living beings from the outside world. The mysterious caravan has the right to enter and carry out their business activities. After reading it, Zhou Zhou nodded in satisfaction. After the mysterious caravan advanced to the Supreme Unique Lord Talent, it indeed became the mysterious Merchant Chamber of Commerce and controlled all the members of the mysterious caravan in the supreme great cosmos. According to his understanding, the mysterious Merchant Chamber of Commerce had the largest merchant faction in the myriad worlds. With such a merchant faction, even if he did nothing in the future, he could lie down and become the richest person in the supreme great cosmos. Of course, naturally, he would not do nothing. This was the largest merchant faction in the supreme great cosmos. As long as he used this merchant faction well, it would be at least 20% easier for him to conquer the entire supreme great cosmos in the future. Even though this 20% difficulty ratio was small, it could save Zhou Zhou countless time, energy, and resources. The second function, mysterious trading, did not change. Zhou Zhou naturally had no objections to this. It was not a bad thing to keep a low profile when doing business outside. In any case, his identity as a mysterious merchant could be revealed if he wanted to. It would not affect anything else. The supreme blessing, treasure hunting, went from easy to extremely easy. The efficiency of obtaining treasures increased greatly. When Zhou Zhou saw the mysterious treasure vault, the corners of his mouth couldn't help but twitch. Good Lord, had all the wealth and treasures been taken away by the supreme will? He could understand. The mysterious merchant chamber of commerce used to be the money bag of the supreme will after all. Now that this money bag belonged to him, it was naturally normal for the supreme will to take away the things inside. It originally belonged to him after all. It was impossible for it to benefit him. However, even though he understood, Zhou Zhou still felt like an ordinary person had missed out on 5 million yuan. He shook his head and threw away this strange thought. He looked at the next function, unlimited rite of passage, supreme force. Zhou Zhou pondered for a few seconds before a smile appeared on his face. He muttered to himself, this function should be very useful to the other multiverse factions in the ultimate void great cosmos. As for the supreme great cosmos and the crimson great cosmos, the blazing sun divine kingdom was the only grade 1 supreme faction in these two universes. It did not even have a trade partner, so it was naturally not of much use. In short, Zhou Zhou was very satisfied with the promotion of the mysterious chamber of commerce. With a thought, he saw Zheng Fugui appear in front of him. At this moment, Zheng Fugui was different from before. He had actually changed into a luxurious golden-red outfit. He looked extraordinary but very festive and noble. Zhou Zhou clicked his tongue. This guy's appearance became prettier with every increment and strange of his lord talent increased. He did not care much. He smiled and said, the mysterious merchant chamber of commerce has already been upgraded. Tell me more about the current situation of the mysterious merchant chamber of commerce. Yes, Your Majesty. Zheng Fugui, who had changed his attire, spoke and did things in a manner that was more in line with etiquette. His attitude towards Zhou Zhou was also more respectful. Anyone who looked at his amiable face would have a good impression of him. He carefully explained the current situation of the mysterious merchant chamber of commerce in the myriad worlds. Not surprisingly, the mysterious merchant chamber of commerce was extremely powerful in the myriad worlds. No matter which lord faction it was, even the Sun Divine Court and the Great Lunar Court, they were extremely friendly to the mysterious merchant chamber of commerce. However, there was one flaw. In the past, when the mysterious caravan was in danger, they could invite experts to help them escape danger. At most, they could even invite low-level Supreme Will Realm experts to help. But now that the owner of the mysterious merchant chamber of commerce had changed from a Supreme Will to Zhou Zhou, the mysterious merchant chamber of commerce could no longer invite top-notch experts to protect the mysterious merchant chamber of commerce like before. Zhou Zhou frowned when he heard that, but he quickly relaxed. This situation was very reasonable. The Supreme Will powerhouses who were invited to escort them were all subordinates of the Supreme Will after all. Whatever the Supreme Will asked them to do, they naturally had to obey. However, now that the owner of the mysterious merchant chamber of commerce had become him, he naturally did not have the face to let those Supreme Will realm experts continue to help. Even if he was now the successor of the Supreme Will, the dignity of the successor was still not as useful as the Supreme Will. Moreover, he was not even a Supreme Will realm expert now. How could he have the face to ask those experts to help? He thought for a moment and quickly had an idea. Zheng Fugui, can you contact those Supreme Will realm experts that the mysterious merchant chamber of commerce could invite in the past? Zhou Zhou asked. Yes. Zheng Fugui immediately said respectfully. Sure. Zhou Zhou nodded and said, send a message to those Supreme Will realm experts with this emperor's identity. Tell them that even though the current owner of the mysterious merchant chamber of commerce has changed, we are willing to remunerate them to protect the mysterious merchant chamber of commerce. We guarantee that the remuneration would satisfy them. Things would be good for those who can agree to this emperor's hiring. It doesn't matter if they are unwilling to agree. Let's do it, Zhou Zhou said in a low voice. Yes, Zheng Fugue said respectfully. Zhou Zhou closed the Lord Talon interface and stood up to leave the reincarnation sacred palace to Mugu's residence. Mugu was drinking tea at that moment. When he saw Zhou Zhou, he immediately bowed respectfully to him. Zhou Zhou nodded and drank tea and chatted with Mugu. A moment later, a golden stream of light flew out of the scarlet brood mother and landed on the ground. It was Wu Xian. When he saw Zhou Zhou, he immediately said respectfully, "Greetings, Your Majesty." Zhou Zhou nodded. Then, Wu Xian did not waste his breath and handed the 3 world rings filled with loots to Zhou Zhou. Zhou Zhou took it and sent his willpower into it to take a look. Then, a smile appeared on his face. Even though this was not the first time he saw this 120 guy unit recruitment books and 120 guy unit class change certificate, he could not help but be very happy. He took a deep breath and handed the class change certificate to Wu Xian, asking him to find reserve recruits and change their class to Supreme God Realm Soldiers and Supreme Holy Mage Gods. As for Zhou Zhou, he immediately left Mugu's blessed land and flew out of the Divine Kingdom world to the Gate of Summoning. He called over a Grade 1 Supreme God-level cosmic battleship, as usual. Then, he threw all 120 guy unit recruitment books into the Gate of Summoning. Then, he spent 100 Grade 1 Supreme God Divine crystals to recruit them and arranged for them to be in this cosmic battleship. Then, Zhou Zhou spent another 100 Grade 1 Supreme God Divine crystals to summon today's subject. This time, he summoned a total of more than 220 billion subjects. He summoned more than 50 billion subjects than usual, including 15 Grade 1 Supreme God spirits. Then, he went to Jade Capital Immortal Mountain alone. After spending 1,000 low-tier deity-level elementary grade divine crystals, he summoned 100 heavenly soldiers, heavenly generals, and heavenly venerates of the capital units. At this moment, swoosh, 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 swoosh. A total of 2,555,619 nomological pillars of light soared into the sky from the direction of the reincarnation sacred palace. Right on the heels of that, another 50 completely different starry sky phenomena appeared in the sky, filled with stars. It was the cosmic phenomenon of a master god tier becoming a supreme god, just as the god spirits of the myriad worlds were about to be shocked. Boom, boom. 2 beams of light of different colors shot into the starry sky. Under the illumination of these 2 pillars of light, the sun star and the great lunar star actually took the initiative to restrain their light, making these 2 pillars of light the only 2 greatest sources of light in the myriad worlds. At this moment, all the living beings in the myriad worlds, even the blind, could see the existence of these 2 pillars of light. This also made them the only 2 lights in the supreme great cosmos. At the same time, they, who saw the 2 pillars of light, came to a realization. This was a phenomenon, and it was not ordinary. It was the phenomenon of a quasi-supreme Will realm expert advancing to the low-level supreme Will realm. At this moment in the myriad worlds, from the experts with willpower to the ordinary life forms, they were all shocked, especially those experts who knew the meaning of the supreme Will realm. They were even more shocked to the point of ecstasy. A new supreme Will realm expert has been born in our supreme great cosmos. And there are 2 of them. Oh my God, am I dreaming? I also feel like I'm in a dream. This is a supreme Will realm expert. How long has it been since a supreme Will realm expert appeared in our supreme great cosmos? At least 1 billion years. Doesn't Lord Reincarnation Will count? The Reincarnation Will is nothing. He can be considered to have inherited the inheritance of a supreme Will realm expert. He can at most be considered the successor. With the Reincarnation Will in our supreme great cosmos, it's equivalent to restoring a supreme Will realm expert at most. It can't be considered a new supreme Will realm expert at all. What surprised me is not that a new supreme Will realm expert was born, but that 2 new supreme Will realm experts were actually born at once. Moreover, did you guys notice? The source of these 2 new supreme Will realm experts is actually the blazing sun divine capital. I have a terrifying guess. These 2 supreme Will realm experts were probably nurtured by the reserve supreme lord, the common people's regal. Stop joking. How can a supreme Will realm expert suffer such humiliation? What's with being nurtured by the common people's regal? The common people's regal is only a supreme god now. Where did he get the ability and resources to nurture a supreme, realm expert? Can you bunch of supporters of the common people's regal use your brains before you speak? Do you want to take a gamble? I'll bet that these two supreme realm experts were nurtured by the common people's regal. Fine, I'll bet. Who's afraid of who? I definitely won't lose, okay? Stop arguing. I'm the trainer officer of the Sun Divine Court. Just now, His Majesty, the regal Great Solar, already found out from the Supreme Realm that these two new Supreme Realm experts were indeed nurtured by the common people's regal. There's no dispute about this matter. You're not allowed to speak ill of the great common people's regal. Was he really nurtured by the great common people's regal? How can that be fake? Moreover, you don't know, right? Even though Lord Common People's regal is only a supreme god now, he has already killed a high-level supreme realm expert. Moreover, he was killed when he was a grade 3 supreme god realm expert. With this ability, what's the point of nurturing two supreme realm experts? As soon as this news was released, all the god spirits in the myriad worlds were stunned. The common people's regal actually defeated a supreme realm expert as a supreme god? My god. If this was true, the matter of nurturing two supreme realm experts was indeed a small matter. The god spirits sighed. They thought about the process of the common people's regal's rise and suddenly felt that what some of the god spirits said might really be possible. This made them sigh and look forward to the future of the common people's regal. They all realized something today no matter what. No matter how much they envied the rising star of the common people's regal, the rise of this rising star was already unstoppable for them. Furthermore, they were already certain. The common people's regal was definitely not inferior to Lord of 10,000 Evils, the Spring-Autumn Dharma Lord, and even God King Heaven Punishment. Even they could not create 50 new supreme gods in a day after all. Such a magnificent feat was already an unbelievable event that overturned their worldview. This was because even God King Heaven Punishment and the Spring-Autumn Dharma Lord had never done such a magnificent feat. The God King Heaven Punishment and the Spring-Autumn Dharma Lord had only defeated low-level supreme realm experts back then after all. Furthermore, they were both grade 4 supreme gods or quasi-supreme realm experts back then. Where was the common people's regal? He could kill a high-level supreme realm expert when he was at the grade 3 supreme god realm. When the two sides were compared, it was obvious who was superior and who was inferior. The god spirits were still discussing the common people's regal and the newly advanced supreme realm experts. Zhou Zhou also laughed. Now that he, who was a grade 4 supreme god and had grasped the level of the supreme realm's will, was getting closer and closer to the goal of a supreme realm expert, he had even naturally grasped some magical abilities that only those at the supreme realm could master. For example, he no longer needed to watch the Lord channel and the battle channel of the myriad races to know what the living beings discussing him were thinking. Even the high and mighty supreme gods had no secrets in front of him. When he truly advanced to the supreme realm, he could even know what all the living beings in the supreme great cosmos were thinking with a thought. It was even to the extent that he only needed to focus a little to be able to see the other timelines and know what the living beings in the other timelines were thinking. This was the power of a supreme realm expert. At this moment, these new master god tiers, supreme gods, and the two new supreme realm experts had already flown over. They surrounded him according to their strength. The closest to him were naturally the two supreme realm experts. Even though they were experts from another universe from Tianjun's corpse, they were still very respectful to Zhou Zhou. The Fire Heart will greets your majesty. Tao Breaking will greets your majesty. Of these two supreme realm experts, one was surrounded by extremely terrifying scarlet flames, and the other held a divine spear. They had a sharpness and temperament that could fight the heavens and the earth. At that moment, the two supreme realm experts, they bowed respectfully to Zhou Zhou. Even though Zhou Zhou was only a grade 4 supreme god now, they did not dare to be impudent at all. They had seen with their own eyes that Zhou 11 and Zhou 11 could easily kill a high-level supreme realm expert. As the main body, Zhou Zhou's strength was definitely even more terrifying. They did not feel that they had anything to be proud of in front of His Majesty. Zhou Zhou looked at them and smiled. Congratulations on your advancement. From now on, the two of you will be the second and third guardians of this Emperor's blazing sun divine kingdom. As for the specific treatment, you will be satisfied. Thank you, Your Majesty. The two Supreme Will Realm experts were very excited. They knew how generous His Majesty was. Since it was said that they could be satisfied, it would definitely not disappoint them. They could not help but look forward to it. In the surrounding crowd, when the will of the heavenly blade saw this scene, it felt a little emotional. He had just joined the blazing sun divine kingdom yesterday and became the first and only supreme will realm worshipper of the blazing sun divine kingdom. Unexpectedly, only the next day, the he prefix on him was removed. The blazing sun divine kingdom directly had 3 supreme will realm consecrations. The growth speed of this country was simply unbelievable. He searched through the memories in his mind, but he could not find a country that grew at the same speed as the blazing sun divine kingdom. Even the sun divine court and the great lunar court were no exception. At this moment, Zhou Zhou looked at the will of the heavenly blade and beckoned for it to come over. Even though the will of the heavenly blade was puzzled, it still came over obediently. Zhou Zhou smiled when he saw the 3 supreme will realm experts standing in front of him. Then, he took out 3 world rings and handed them to them. Since it's the offering of this Emperor's blazing sun divine kingdom, this is the customary greeting gift. Keep it well, Zhou Zhou said with a smile. Thank you, Your Majesty. The will of the heavenly blade, they was not surprised by this. They had long known that His Majesty would reward every new powerhouse, especially the new Master God tier and Supreme God, for their advancement. There were also promotion rewards for the other levels, but they were not personally given by His Majesty, but distributed by the experts of the Blazing Sun Divine Court. They was only curious about one thing. What kind of greeting gift would His Majesty give a Supreme will realm expert like them? Even though it did not matter if it was expensive or not, they could not hide their anticipation. His Majesty's generosity was famous in the myriad worlds after all. With anticipation, they entered the world rings with their power will and quickly saw the rewards inside. They trembled, their eyes filled with shock and ecstasy. That was because in their world ring was a complete set of holy artifacts. Are you satisfied with this greeting gift? Zhou Zhou asked with a smile. If it was in the past, he definitely wouldn't have been able to produce this set of holy artifacts. His heavenly fate Di Huang could not cover the supreme will realm after all. However, after the battle with the fearless king, the fearless king's treasury had greatly enriched Zhou Zhou's treasury. It had also allowed Zhou Zhou to obtain a large number of holy artifacts. That was why he could take out these 18 holy artifacts as a greeting gift for them. However, he didn't give it away for nothing. Don't be in a hurry to be agitated. This isn't a free gift. This emperor lent it to you at the last minute, Zhou Zhou said. When you accumulate enough military merits and completely exchange them for them, you will truly have it. Before that, you only have the right to use it. Thank you, Your Majesty. The will of the heavenly blade and the others immediately knelt down to Zhou Zhou. Even if it's the right to use it, we are extremely grateful. Your Majesty, don't worry. We will definitely accumulate military merits as soon as possible and strive to exchange this set of holy artifacts into our hands as soon as possible. The 3 supreme will realm experts, they were very excited. Even the will of the heavenly blade, who had the best temperament, was no exception. This was a holy artifact. How precious was it? Among all the supreme will realm experts in the entire supreme great cosmos, there were definitely less than 5 supreme will realm experts who had a complete set of holy artifacts. As for these 3 newly advanced supreme will realm experts, they had a complete set of holy artifacts. If word got out, the other supreme will realm experts would probably die of envy. Most importantly, with this set of holy artifacts, even though they were only newly advanced low-level supreme will realm experts, their combat strength was definitely not inferior to true mid-level supreme will realm experts. With such strength, not only could they protect themselves among supreme will realm experts, they could also better earn military merits for His Majesty. Zhou Zhou nodded slightly. That was his intention. He hoped that they could contribute more to the blazing sun divine kingdom for this set of holy artifacts. Then, he chatted with the other newly promoted god spirits for a while and rewarded each of them with a set of divine artifacts that matched their paths before letting them leave. Then, he began to calculate the forces under him. Zhou Fight calculated the strength of his main combat army after they left. His original military strength was 342 Guy units, 2,587 capital units, 3,476,324,839,891 soldiers, 61,282 for 39,7607 god spirits, 74,351,819 true god tiers, 3,823,161 master gods, 857 supreme gods, 89 quasi-supreme, will realm experts, and 1 supreme, will realm expert, including the 240 new Guy unit recruits, 100 capital units heavenly soldiers, 2,555,619 new master god tiers, 131 new supreme gods, and 2 supreme, will realm experts. The troops under him had already reached 582 Guy units, 2,687 capital units, 3,476,324,730, 4,839,891 soldiers, 6,128,243,007,607 god spirits, 74,351,819 true god tiers, 6,378,780 master gods, 988 supreme gods, 89 quasi-supreme, will realm experts, and 3 supreme, will realm experts. Zhou Zhou nodded in satisfaction after reading it. The troops under he had already reached 582 Guy units, 2687 capital units, 347.6 trillion, 324.7 billion, 34.8, 3,009,891 soldiers, 61,282.43 billion, 7,607 god spirits, 74.35 billion, 1,819 true god tiers, 6,378,780 supremacy gods, 988 supreme gods, 89 quasi-supreme, will realm experts, and 3 supreme, will realm experts, not to mention anything else. Just the supreme gods alone had reached the level of more than 900 to nearly 1,000. There were only more than 10,000 supreme gods in the entire supreme great cosmos. The number of supreme gods under him had already reached 1/10 of the total number of supreme gods in the entire supreme great cosmos. It was simply terrifying. As for the last 3 supreme will realm experts, he found them more and more pleasing to the eye. Once him, who had a grade 4 supreme god, activated the king, not only would the power of these 3 supreme will realm experts be copied into him, but it would also directly increase by 50 times, which meant the moment he activated the king, he could immediately possess the strength of 150 supreme will realm experts. Even though the combined strength of these experts might not be able to immediately allow his strength to reach the high-level supreme will realm, but it should be extremely close. When the number of newly advanced supreme will realm experts under he reached 10, he believed that he could reach the high-level supreme will realm without relying on external forces like the Yellow River Slate. With the help of will holy artifacts, law skills, and other powers, even if his main body was only a grade 4 supreme god, it was enough to be invincible among supreme will realm experts. On the other side, at the Chaos Sea, Zhou Marshal had already brought Thanatos, Nazario, and 10,000 Master God tier advanced grade God spirits to the Chaos Sea. Today, the space-time chaotic divine demons, they had brought a total of 1,572 chaotic divine demons. Zhou Marshal gave the space-time chaotic divine demon, they 6,288 Master God tier divine artifacts. Then, he killed more than 1,000 chaotic divine demons with a single palm, and obtained 6,308 units of chaotic divine artifacts. Following that, they made another trip to the time ruins of Chaos of Death and obtained another 170 units of chaos divine treasures. Zhou Marshal nodded slightly. Even though his main body was currently expending a large number of chaos divine treasures to support the local lords to advance to the Master God tier kingdom. Fortunately, the number of chaos divine treasures he earned every day was also increasing day by day. From the current income, Even if he supported the local lords with all his might, the chaos divine treasure in his hands would definitely increase. Supporting a true god-tier elementary grade territory to advance to a master god-tier elementary grade territory only required 500 chaos divine treasures after all. Even if he advanced to master god-tier intermediate grade territory, he only needed 1,000 chaos divine treasures. It only required 5,000 chaos divine treasures to advance to the territory of a master god-tier advanced grade. His main body now had nearly 60,000 chaos divine treasures, enough to support more than 100 high-level divine kingdoms to advance to the master god-tier kingdom. Not bad, not bad. Zhou Marshal was very satisfied. His previous worries seemed to be unnecessary. His main body now had the strength to support a large number of master god-tier kingdoms in the Supreme Great Cosmos and the Crimson Great Cosmos. Then, he would take them for himself and turn them into firewood for his territory to advance. The Yellow River region. Zhou Fight came here alone, and then he saw the reincarnation will, who was also here. Brother, Zhou Marshal said in surprise. Brother, when the reincarnation will saw Zhou Marshal, it smiled and waved he over. Zhou Marshal arrived beside him. The reincarnation will looked at the Yellow River region in front of him and sighed. This region is finally back in our hands. Actually, now that I think about it, it's hard for me to imagine so many things happening in such a short period of time. Fortunately, everything returned to normal with your help. When the reincarnation will reach the end, his gaze was complicated. Only the he that he cared about was gone. Zhou Marshal saw the emotions in the reincarnation will's heart and comforted. Everything will be fine. Reincarnation will looked at Zhou Fight and shook his head with a smile. He didn't feel too sad. Even though the death of the will of the Yellow River made he extremely sad, after seeing the miracle created by his younger brother these days, he gradually began to believe that the will of the Yellow River could be revived by the common people's regal. Since there was hope, why should he be sad? The reincarnation will only hope that day would come soon. Now that the Yellow River region has returned to unity, how do you plan to manage this region in the future? The reincarnation will smiled and said, I've already accepted the inheritance of Lord Yellow River's will. I know how Lord Yellow Rivers will manage this land in the past. Let's follow Lord Yellow River's previous management method. It's just that it's all my people, Zhou Zhou said with a smile. The situation in the Yellow River region was special. It was the front line of the land of reincarnation of the undead, netherworld, in the myriad worlds. The local management method of the Blazing Sun Divine Kingdom was not suitable for it. The management method of the Yellow River's will that had been tested for countless years was the best management method. In that case, Zhou Fight naturally would not change it to show his ability. Xiao Ru and Xiao Sui were the best way to deal with them. However, even with the rules and regulations, with the various Lord talents and other buffs of the Blazing Sun Divine Kingdom, he believed that under the lead of his main body, the Yellow River region would definitely develop 1,000, 10,000, or even more times better than before. One day, the Yellow River region, the front line of the netherworld, might surpass the true land of reincarnation, the netherworld. Zhou Marshal was very confident about this. When the reincarnation will saw the confidence in Zhou Marshal's eyes, it could not help but feel very satisfied and gratified. What he admired the most was his brother's confidence and even his conceit. He believed that under the lead of his younger brother, the Yellow River region would definitely develop faster and better than under the lead of the Yellow River's will. Brother, don't worry. The reincarnation will patted his chest and promised confidently. My netherworld is right beside the Yellow River region. If you can't find time sometimes, as long as I'm around, I'll definitely protect the Yellow River region and never let anything like the illusionary world invade it again. Zhou Fight nodded. He still trusted his brother very much. This brother's territory was close to the Yellow River region. He would indeed need to take care of him in the future. Of course, he would also take care of his brother. My main body has already decided to station a new clone in the Yellow River region to protect the safety of the Yellow River region. Zhou Fight continued. That's good. Reincarnation was amused. Then I'll come and drink with him often in the future. He already knew the relationship between the main body and the clone, and he also knew that the main body was busy, and drinking with the clone was no different from drinking with the main body. Therefore, He didn't care if the person drinking was the main body. Anyway, the main body would understand. Zhou Fight nodded and asked curiously, after the failure of the illusionist clan in the Yellow River region, have there been any new developments? Those guys won't let this go. The reincarnation will turn serious when he heard that, he said coldly. They will definitely think of leading a stronger army to raid the Yellow River region or other places after this failure. The illusionist clan is such an opponent, but we won't let our guard down. If they still dares to invade our supreme great cosmos, they will definitely they experience a painful defeat before returning in a sorry state. I'll do my part then, Zhou Fight said. The illusionist clan was also his enemy. His nest was in the supreme great cosmos, so he naturally would not tolerate these guys coveting the supreme great cosmos. Reincarnation will patted Zhou Fight's shoulder and smiled. There was no need to say anything. Then, he asked, brother, now that the Yellow River region has been unified, what are your plans for the future? Continue upgrading the territory, Zhou Fight said with a smile. He thought for a moment and said, in addition, the Supreme Will has invited me to the river of time and space. I plan to take a look later. He naturally had not forgotten. The Supreme Will had said that he had left an opportunity for him to advance to the Supreme Will realm in the river of time and space. Now that he was already a grade 4 Supreme God, he was not far from the quasi-Supreme Will realm. It was time to pick up his opportunity. Moreover, he also wanted to train in the long river of time and space for a period of time after advancing to the Supreme Will realm. It was said that the river of time and space could speed up his contact with his alternate timeline main body, thereby increasing his cultivation speed in the Supreme Will realm. Since Zhou Zhou's main body could not come, he would let him, his strongest combat clone, come. The reincarnation will immediately understood. He felt that the Supreme Will was giving the common people's regal and the spring-autumn Dharma Lord a chance to train. This would determine the order of the two successors, just like Lord of 10,000 Evils and the common people's regal. The common people's regal went to the ultimate void battlefield controlled by Lord of 10,000 Evils. Not long after, not only did the ultimate void battlefield return, but the common people's regal also directly advanced from the Supreme Lord's 4th Reserve Army to the 3rd Reserve Army. The ranking of the Lord of 10,000 Evils fell. Still, worry appeared in Reincarnation Will's eyes. The Spring-Autumn Dharma Lord was not something that a half-baked Supreme Lord Reserve Army, like Lord of 10,000 Evils, could compare to. In terms of realm alone, the Spring-Autumn Dharma Lord had already entered the Supreme Will realm for many years and was a mid-level Supreme Will realm expert. It was said that until now, Lord of 10,000 Evils only had the strength of a quasi-Supreme Will realm expert. The difference between the two was like the difference between heaven and earth. It was not easy for his younger brother to surpass the Spring-Autumn Dharma Lord and obtain a high-level Supreme Lord Reserve Army status. However, he looked at Zhou Fight and didn't say anything to deal a blow. Instead, he said seriously, the Supreme will probably want you to compete with the Spring-Autumn Dharma Lord. Brother, I believe you. I think as long as you are given enough time, you will definitely be able to surpass the Spring-Autumn Dharma Lord and become the Supreme Lord Reserve Army to face God King Heaven punishment. Zhou Fight looked at the Reincarnation Will for a long time. He didn't expect him to believe him so much. He spoke frankly. In fact, he did not have the confidence to surpass the Spring-Autumn Dharma Lord and become the 2nd Reserve Army of the Supreme Lord. In terms of the initial Lord talent, it was said that the Spring-Autumn Dharma Lord had the only mythical tier Lord talent as soon as he awakened it. As for God King Heaven punishment, even though he had the same Lord talent as the Spring-Autumn Dharma Lord in terms of his first awakening, he had the only mythical tier Lord talent. However, he had advanced to the Supreme Will realm when he was more than 100 years old and became the existence that had advanced to the Supreme Will realm in the shortest time in the history of the Supreme Great Cosmos. His cultivation talent was comparable to, or even higher than the Supreme Will realm Lord talent. Back then, he had only awakened the legendary tier Lord talent. In terms of talent, the main body also knew that it was inferior to these two. However, in terms of catching up, the main body was very confident that it would not be inferior to them in the future. Therefore, he looked at the Reincarnation Will and nodded seriously. He didn't say anything modest. Instead, he said seriously, I look forward to the day that brother says. The reincarnation will grant. For some reason, when Zhou Fight said this, he inexplicably felt that he could do it. Then, Zhou Fight chatted for a while before the two god spirits separated. Zhou Fight headed to the river of time and space alone. The reincarnation will return to the netherworld. The Yellow River domain had just returned. He needed to do many things to connect with the Yellow River domain. Just taking back the ownerless souls that were scattered throughout the myriad worlds was a huge business that would take a long time. After a while, a clone of Zhou Zhou arrived at the Yellow River region. He was a newly created clone of Zhou Zhou, named Zhou 18. His mission was also very simple. He would preside over the Yellow River region, manage the matters here, and receive the benefits of the Yellow River region, such as the Yellow River fish. Of course, the most important thing was to prevent trouble from happening in the Yellow River realm again. Since he had already become the lord of the Yellow River region, Zhou Zhou would not fool this responsibility. Therefore, Zhou 18 would be permanently stationed here. Unless there was something extremely important, he wouldn't go out to do anything else. This was a boundless scarlet-yellow floating continent. On this floating continent, there was an illusory river that was billions of light years long and reflected countless space-time phantoms. It flowed on this continent without changing since ancient times. Countless ancient existences, buildings, epic tears, mythical tears, lost territories, and forgotten civilizations could find traces of them on this continent. There were living beings, things, and everything that had existed since the birth of the chaotic great cosmos. As long as they existed in the world, one could find traces of them or even their main bodies here, even though they could no longer be revived in the current world and might even have been forgotten. They would always be recorded here. At this moment, thud, a golden door appeared in the sky above the continent. Then, the door opened and a figure walked out. He was wearing the regal dragon's sacred robe. He had a tall figure and perfect looks. Even a deva could not compare to this person's looks. It was difficult for life forms in the world to forget his looks with a single look. They might even be infatuated. He had an extremely noble and supreme aura. Just by standing there, others would feel that he was the only one in the world. All life forms and even other existences in the world had to respect he as the only Di Huang. He was Zhou Fight, who had just arrived. The eternal mainland, the river of time and space. Zhou Fight looked at the floating continent and said softly, "I'm coming." Zhou Fight walked on the eternal continent. He looked down at the ancient continent and the various fantasy scenes that appeared and disappeared in the long river of time and space. His eyes were filled with surprise. Is this the eternal mainland and the river of time and space? It's indeed magical. Zhou Fight nodded slightly. Even though he already knew what the eternal continent and the river of time and space looked like through the inheritance in his mind. However, the impact of knowing and seeing it with their own eyes was completely different. It was even more impactful and shocking to see in the main world. At this moment, a figure flew over from below and quickly arrived in front of Zhou Fight. He was golden in color and held a divine sword in both hands. There was a towering sword intent on him as he looked at Zhou Fight with a sharp gaze. "You're a swordsman too, right? Fight me," he said coldly. Zhou Fight looked at him and found him very familiar. He looked at the other party for a few seconds and said, "You're the absolute heaven sword god." The absolute heaven sword god, a supreme god from 2 million years ago. This god loved to challenge sword Dao experts when he was alive. He had once announced to the myriad worlds that there was only one way for him to die in the future, and that was to die at the hands of a sword Dao expert stronger than him. Later on, he did as he wished. He had finally challenged a swordsman stronger than him. However, what was laughable was that when this fellow was about to be killed, he actually cried and begged his opponent for mercy, hoping that the other party would spare his life. However, the other party did not spare him. After mocking him, he killed Absolute Heaven Sword God cleanly. The Absolute Heaven Sword God had created a set of Absolute Heaven Sword Dao himself. After he died, this set of Grade 3 Supreme God Realm inheritance was lost. Zhou Fight did not expect to encounter a sword Dao expert from history. Zhou Fight did not expect to encounter a sword Dao expert from history. "I don't want to fight you." Zhou Fight shook his head. He had the combat strength of a top Supreme Realm expert. Fighting a Grade 3 Supreme God Realm, he couldn't afford to lose face. Are you afraid? Absolute heaven, sword god sneered. The corners of Zhou Fight's mouth twitched. He could not be bothered with the other party and continued flying forward. He was going to find the spring-autumn Dharma Lord. He did not want to waste time with this guy. However, at this moment, such a timid person is not worthy of being my opponent. The absolute heaven, sword god sneered. Zhou Fight raised his eyebrows. He turned around and glanced at him. The absolute heaven sword god turned to look at him as if he sensed something. The two of them looked at each other. Bang! The absolute heaven sword god exploded and instantly dissipated into the world. I don't want to talk to you. You jumped on it. You're courting death. Zhou Fight mumbled. This guy's death in history was really not in vain. MHM. He suddenly saw a flowing yellow light floating where the absolute heaven sword god had died. Zhou Fight raised his hand and saw the light fly over and land in his hand. The power of his will entered, and he knew what this light represented. This light contained the absolute heaven sword god's grade 3 supreme god realm inheritance. Absolute heaven sword Dao. Killing a historical life form that exists on the eternal continent can actually obtain the inheritance left behind by the other party? Or should I say, important memories? Zhou Fight was surprised. He suddenly looked down at the eternal continent. On this ancient continent, there were at least 1,000,000 supreme gods like the absolute heaven sword god. As for the historical life forms at the level of master god tier, true god tier, and even ordinary god spirits, there was no end to them. Even with Zhou Fight's current level of willpower, he felt that the number could be said to be endless. He thought of the spring-autumn Dharma Lord who guarded the river of time and space. Spring-autumn Dharma Lord has guarded the river of time and space for countless years. The pavilion closest to the water gets the moonlight first. It's unknown how much heritage he has accumulated over the years to guard such a treasure land. The more Zhou Fight thought about it, the more shocked he became. That must have been an unimaginable number. At this moment, third brother, a clear and smiling young man's voice sounded in Zhou Fight's ears. Come quickly, I'll wait for you in the myriad world's chaos pool. It was spring-autumn Dharma Lord's voice. Zhou Fight was a little surprised. Then, he smiled and said, I'll be right there. Myriad world's chaos pool. Zhou Fight muttered this name in his heart. Then, he vaguely knew where this place was. He did not find it strange. He immediately followed the feeling in his heart and flew towards the myriad world's chaos pool. On the way, he had also encountered many historical powerhouses who had appeared in front of him. There were even powerhouses from different timelines. The strongest among them was even a low-level supreme Will Realm powerhouse. However, these fellows didn't stop he from advancing. Instead, he obtained many benefits. The greatest benefit was naturally the inheritance of the low-level supreme Will Realm expert. When Zhou Fight obtained the inheritance of this supreme Will Realm expert, he was naturally very happy. Even he did not have many legacies of this level after all. This eternal mainland is really a treasure land. Zhou Fight lamented. After flying for a while and dealing with more than 10 reckless historical life forms, he finally arrived at the myriad world's chaos pool. It was called a pool, but this was actually an ocean. Endless chaotic seawater gathered into this endless sea. At a glance, it was deep and terrifying, making one's hair stand on end. On the reef shore of this vast sea, a man in a fisherman's outfit was sitting there, fishing with a fishing rod. He was extremely serious and motionless. It was unknown how long he had been here. Zhou Fight looked from afar and had a faint illusion that this person was clearly in front of him, but he could not sense his existence. Third brother, the spring-autumn Dharma Lord did not turn around or speak, but Zhou Fight heard the other party's voice. Third brother, don't blame me. I've been waiting here for more than 12,000 years to catch this fish. I can sense that he is going to take the bait in the near future. This is a critical moment. That's why I didn't welcome you personally. What's the big deal? Second brother, don't worry. Zhou Fight also knew that even though the Supreme Lord Reserve Army were competitors, they were also competitors who appreciated each other. He usually called them brothers, so he directly called them second brother. He asked curiously, Second brother, what fish are you fishing for? High-level Supreme Taiching Silkfish. The Spring-Autumn Dharma Lord said without turning around. Is there anything magical about this fish? Zhou Fight asked again. He had long known that the other party was a veteran fisherman. He had been addicted to fishing for countless years, but he did not expect that the other party had actually waited for more than 10,000 years for a fish. Zhou Fight did not understand, but he respected him. As for the high-level Supreme Taiching Silkfish that the other party mentioned, Zhou Fight searched through the inheritance in his mind but could not remember the origin of this fish. There's nothing magical about it. Spring Autumn Dharma Lord smiled and said, "At most, I'll bring a transcendent skill." A transcendent skill? Zhou Fight was stunned. What high-level Supreme Taiching Silkfish could actually carry such a treasure? You can fish out treasures from fishing? Zhou Fight was surprised. Even though Zhou Fight had heard of similar things in the countless bloodline inheritances in his mind, he had heard of fishing out treasures. At most, he would fish out treasures at the low-tier deity level. As for the transcendence technique that had reached the level of transcendence, he had never heard of it. Second brother, is this your ability? Zhou Fight could not help but ask. I guess. The Spring Autumn Dharma Lord smiled and nodded. He explained. The mythical tier Lord talent I awakened back then was called the Myriad World Fisherman. I relied on this mythical tier Lord talent to rise after that. At this point, I've already raised the mythical tier 1 Lord talent, the mythical tier Fisherman of the Infinite Worlds, to the transcendent level 1 Lord talent. Even though it's no longer my strongest move, it might be out of habit. When I'm free, I still like to use this transcendent Lord talent to fish for treasures in the myriad worlds. Most of the time, I can't catch any treasures that make me feel like it is precious. However, I am happy as your second brother. Towards the end, the Spring Autumn Dharma Lord revealed an infatuated smile. Zhou Fight was surprised. His second brother was really a fool when it came to fishing. Moreover, transcendence, the only Lord talent, Zhou Fight was deep in thought. His main body should also be thinking about when to increase his Lord talent to the supreme level, the only Lord talent. Now, he had some supreme unique Lord talent. It was already useless against the 3 experts who had already reached the supreme realm. What made Zhou Fight feel the most regretful was that if the main body's Lord talent, Heavenly Fate Di Huang, could be upgraded from the supreme unique Lord talent to the supreme unique Lord talent, he would probably be able to achieve the freedom of the Will Holy Artifact and Supreme Will Realm treasures in the future. It would not be like now, where a few Will Holy Artifacts would be deducted. Even some Will Holy Artifacts would not be completely compatible with the Supreme Will Realm experts under him. There was more. His Supreme Unique Lord Talent, Lord of Peace, could increase the loyalty of the subjects. Even though its effect was very good and the main body relied on it, it was still the Supreme Unique Lord Talent, not the Supreme Unique Lord Talent. It was useless against Supreme Will Realm experts. Now that the Supreme Will Realm experts under his main body had already reached 3, there would definitely be more and more in the future. The Lord Talent of the Lord of Peace was gradually unable to satisfy the main body's needs, so raising it to the supreme level, the only Lord Talent, was also an urgent need. He didn't want there to be uncontrollable bombs hidden around him. The way to raise his main body's Supreme Unique Lord Talent to the Supreme Unique Lord Talent was also very simple. That was that his main body had cultivated the Supreme Sacred Body to the Supreme Will Realm. With the Supreme Sacred Body at the Supreme Will Realm, it could naturally advance the Lord Talent on him to the Supreme level, the only Lord Talent. My main body is already a grade 4 Supreme Sacred Body. Increase your speed during this period of time. Use more time to wash your hands of the Lord Talent Crystal Fragment. You should be able to raise the Supreme Sacred Body to the Supreme level in a short period of time. Zhou Fight thought to himself. At this moment, the Spring Autumn Dharma Lord suddenly exclaimed in surprise. Then, he suddenly erupted with an extremely shocking aura and pressure. Under this aura and pressure, Zhou Fight actually felt a terrifying sense of danger, as if he was facing a life-and-death situation. Zhou Fight's pupils contracted. Just as he did not know what had happened, the Spring Autumn Dharma Lord suddenly tugged at the fishing rod and began to wrestle with a certain existence in the myriad world's chaos pool. When Zhou Fight saw this scene, he vaguely guessed what had happened. Could it be that Supreme High-Level Supreme Taiching Silkfish had taken the bait? Was it such a coincidence? He had only been here for a while, but he had already taken the bait? Spring Autumn Dharma Lord had waited for more than 10,000 years for this divine fish. Spring Autumn Dharma Lord was also puzzled. According to his many years of fishing experience, if he wanted to catch this high-level Supreme Taiching Silkfish, he would have to wait at least 3,000 years before he could slowly lure this fish up. However, he did not expect that not long after his third brother arrived, this fish would be caught. He had a guess. However, there was no time for he to ask further. He immediately began to focus on the matter of fighting with the fish in front of him. Since this fish carried a transcendence technique, it clearly had a transcendence level strength, even if it was just 1 point. Even if this point was only 1/10,000th of the strength of a true low-level willpower expert, it still forced the Spring-Autumn Dharma Lord to wait with all his might. Time passed slowly. After an unknown period of time, the Spring-Autumn Dharma Lord finally caught this fish with all his strength. He looked at the mystical fish that emitted a clear light and said excitedly, "I've finally caught this fellow. The bait I spent tens of thousands of years preparing was not in vain." Zhou Fai's lips twitched when he heard that. It took more than 10,000 years to prepare the bait, and another 10,000 years to catch this fish. In other words, it had taken the other party more than 20,000 years just for this fish. The time span was too great. Zhou Fai could not accept it anyway. However, compared to other Supreme Will Realm experts, he could obtain a will skill after spending more than 20,000 years. Maya, this was simply a huge opportunity, and it was an extremely easy one. Not to mention spending more than 20,000 years. They could accept spending 200,000, 20 million, or 20 million years to obtain a willpower skill. To a Supreme Will Realm expert, even if it was 20 million years, to them, they would only be in seclusion for 1 or 2 years after all. They could obtain a rare and expensive transcendent skill inheritance at the cost of the most worthless time. No matter which Supreme Will Realm expert it was, they were very willing to accept it. These thoughts flashed through Zhou Fai's mind in an instant. He smiled and congratulated the Spring-Autumn Dharma Lord. Congratulations to second brother for obtaining this supreme, high-level supreme, Taiching Silkfish. It's just a transcendent skill. The Spring-Autumn Dharma Lord shook his head. Zhou Zhou was speechless. So transcendence techniques were just ordinary goods in your eyes. Zhou Fai thought about the endless treasures in the eternal continent and the long river of time and space. Coupled with the other party's ability to fish for treasures, he suddenly felt that the other party might really think so. Zhou Fai, who had always been confident in having many treasures, actually felt a little jealous at this moment. However, when he thought about how he would definitely be able to obtain more precious treasures and foundations than Heavenly Fate Di Huang when he advanced to the Supreme level, the One Lord talent, or even the Transcendent level, he suddenly calmed down. He believed that he could surpass him in this aspect. It just needed a little time. On the other side, Spring-Autumn Dharma Lord, who was secretly observing Zhou Fai, was also a little surprised. The mentality and confidence of his third brother were definitely not simple, since he, who could recover his composure so quickly with a transcendent technique, as expected of the third brother that he and God King Heaven Punishment acknowledged. "I still have to thank you this time, third brother," he said as he thought about it. "For what?" Zhou Fai was stunned. "You should have great luck, and at least great luck with a transcendent will. Otherwise, how could I, the high-level Supreme Taiching Silkfish, take the bait so quickly? Moreover, you took the bait not long after you came to my side." The Spring-Autumn Dharma Lord smiled and said, "You helped me save at least 3,000 years." Zhou Fai was stunned and came to a realization. So that is how it was. His luck was indeed at least at the transcendent level. He knew this too. The surrounding people would also encounter some lucky things under the influence of their own luck. And reflected on the Spring-Autumn Dharma Lord was that he had caught the fish he wanted in advance. "I see. It's good that you can help second brother." After understanding the reason, Zhou Fai said frankly. The Spring-Autumn Dharma Lord smiled and nodded. Then, he looked at Zhou Fai and suddenly thought of something. His eyes lit up as he suddenly asked, "Third brother, are you interested in fishing with me?" Zhou Fai originally wanted to ask the other party what the opportunity for him to advance to the Supreme Will Realm was. This was his only goal in coming to the river of time and space. But when he suddenly heard this question, he couldn't help but be stunned. Then, he shook his head. "I'm not interested in fishing." Really, the smile on the Spring-Autumn Dharma Lord's face was meaningful. He pointed at the sea of chaos and said seductively, "Do you know what this myriad world's chaos pool is?" "I don't know." "Is it a special geographical environment in the eternal continent?" Zhou Fai shook his head. "Not necessarily." The Spring-Autumn Dharma Lord shook his head and said slowly, This Myriad Worlds Chaos Pool is a special sea that I specially created after imitating the legendary Immortal Holy Artifact, the Sea of Void. My forging path can only create holy artifacts. However, after I imitated the Sea of Void, I only managed to capture a trace of the charm of the Sea of Void by chance. It actually directly promoted it from the level of a holy artifact to the level of mid-level holy artifact. It has also become my best cornucopia and strongest attack method. Legend has it that the Immortal Holy Artifact, Sea of Void, contains all the treasures of the ultimate void great cosmos and the illusionary great world. You might even be able to catch an Immortal Holy Artifact as long as you use it. As for my Myriad Worlds Chaos Pool, even though it's only an imitation, it has also communicated with several multiverse-level worlds. Moreover, it's still slowly expanding its range even now. If you fish with me, you might be able to catch a complete will inheritance. Or, to catch the opportunity, you wanted to advance to the Supreme Will Realm. The Spring-Autumn Dharma Lord said. Zhou Fight could not help but smile bitterly. So that was it. His opportunity was actually to become a fisherman. It seemed like he had no choice but to fish himself. How do I fish? Zhou Fight asked directly. When the Spring-Autumn Dharma Lord heard this, he revealed a smug expression. He extended his right hand and saw an emerald green fishing rod appear in his hand. This is the fishing rod I used in the past. Take it and use it. I'll give it to you. As for fishing, there's actually no special technique. A normal fishing method will do. Come. Just sit next to me and fish. There's no need to worry about snatching my fish. This Myriad Worlds Chaos Pool is very big, and there are many treasures. The Spring-Autumn Dharma Lord said. Zhou Fight nodded and looked at the fishing rod in his hand. He suddenly widened his eyes. Holy Artifact name, Azure Sky. Holy Artifact grade, High Level will Holy Artifact. Holy Artifact will 1. Fishing. As a high level will Holy Artifact, Azure Sky can catch fish at the highest Supreme Will realm. There's a small chance of catching fish with a will that transcends the level. However, after fishing, it will cause wear and tear on Azure Sky. It will need a long time or the corresponding materials to repair it. Holy Artifact will 2. Fish Perception. Able to sense the specific information and approximate location of fish in a certain number of worlds under the sea. Holy Artifact will 3. Breaking World. Azure Sky can break through the barriers of the multiverse and fish across the multiverse. Holy Artifact will 4. Azure Fishing Rod. The Azure Sky's forging material is of the wood attribute, so it has an additional bonus for catching wood fish like life-type fish and special plants. Holy Artifact will 6. Azure God Line. Azure Sky's fishing line is made of transcendent-level materials. When used to attack other lives, it can easily cut through the defense of other lives and cause fatal damage to other lives. It can kill enemies at the Supreme Will realm at the highest.